Have you ever felt trapped, like your heart and mind are chained to a person, a situation, or even a version of your past that just won't let go? That heavy weight in your chest, that endless loop of thoughts you can't seem to switch off. We've all been there. It's called attachment, and it is draining, exhausting, and sometimes suffocating. But here's the truth you need to hear: you are not stuck, not forever. Detachment doesn't mean giving up, it doesn't mean you stop caring. Detachment is about reclaiming your peace, about choosing freedom over chains. And this isn't just for people curious about ancient philosophy. This message is for anyone who's tired of being controlled by emotions, expectations, or outcomes that never seem to align. If you've ever felt like your life was being run by the approval of others, or the fear of loss, this video is for you. We're going to dive into the Stoic philosophy of detachment, drawing wisdom from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. And along the way, you'll discover that detachment isn't about feeling less. It's about feeling fully without losing yourself in the process. So if you're ready to stop suffering over what you can't control, if you're ready to finally break free from the invisible chains holding you back, consider this your invitation. Let's begin. Rule number 1: the power of detachment. Why is detachment so powerful? Because the moment you cling too tightly to people or to outcomes, you hand them your peace. It's as if you've given someone else the remote control to your emotions. You're no longer living, you're reacting. Picture your emotions like a kite. Every attachment is a string. Hold on too tightly. Try to control every gust of wind and you'll lose your balance. But if you learn which strings to hold and which to release, you discover stability. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, 'Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil.'" He wasn't resisting adversity. He was preparing himself not by fighting the storm, but by detaching from the illusion that it could damage what mattered most: his mind, his values, his character. So here's your first exercise. Ask yourself, what or who are you clinging to? Is it a relationship, a title, a fear of being alone? Then go deeper. What do you believe this attachment is giving you? And finally challenge that belief. Is it real, or is it simply fear speaking? Detachment is not about ripping away. It is the gentle process of releasing illusions. Rule number 2: understanding the ego's grip. When you find yourself emotionally tangled, unable to move on, obsessing over outcomes or over people, it's often not love or loyalty that holds you there. It's your ego. The ego craves certainty. It demands approval. It feeds on validation, recognition, and control. It whispers stories of scarcity. Without this person, without this praise, without this outcome, you are incomplete. It convinces you that your worth is conditional, that your value is negotiable. But Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, gave us a reminder: he who is brave is free. Freedom doesn't come from getting everything we want. Freedom comes from seeing through the illusions that ego tries to sell us. In the previous section, we uncovered how the ego grips us, whispering that our worth depends on outcomes or on other people's approval. Now let's take a deeper step into the art of letting go anyway. When we are children, joy comes naturally. A child doesn't need possessions or recognition to feel alive. They play with presents, they connect without conditions, and they express themselves without fear. But as we grow older, something changes. Our ego begins to shape the way we experience the world. Love slowly becomes tied to the fear of losing it. Relationships shift into fragile tools for measuring self-worth. Presence gets replaced by performance, and joy, once so pure now, feels filtered through the eyes of others. To truly detach, we must recognize the voice of ego and gently refuse to believe it. And here's your first practice: name it. Say to yourself, "I'm afraid to let go because I fear being forgotten, being alone, being unimportant." Once you name the fear, you can begin to reframe it. I am not what I lose. I am what I choose to become. Detachment is not indifference, it is wisdom. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop needing love to feel worthy. It's not about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. When you detach, you embrace abundance. You trust that what is truly aligned with you will never require force, fear, or desperation. What is meant to stay will remain. What is not meant for you was never yours to begin with, and in that quiet but courageous surrender you discover peace. Rule number 3: breaking free from the illusion of validation. Have you ever caught yourself changing your words, your actions, even your dreams just to gain someone's approval? Have you ever felt as though another person's opinion could either elevate you or crush you entirely? This craving for validation is one of the most subtle and most painful forms of attachment, because when we live for approval, we are actually living in fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. Epictetus offered a liberating perspective. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why is this so powerful? Because the very moment you stop needing to be admired or understood, that is the exact moment you reclaim your freedom. Too often we idolize others. We imagine they hold some magical quality we lack: more confidence, more beauty, more success. We place them on pedestals and convince ourselves that if they approve of us, then we must be valuable. But eventually the illusion shatters. We realize that no one, not even the people we admire most, can give us the validation we deny ourselves. Detachment from approval doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop outsourcing your identity to them. It means recognizing that worth is not something granted from outside, it is something you already possess within. Here's your next practice. Begin with non-reaction. When someone criticizes you, dismisses you, or tries to provoke you, pause. Don't react out of habit. Instead, respond with awareness. Ask yourself, why does this sting? Does this touch an old wound? Then choose your response not from pain, but from principle. The more you practice this, the more your mind becomes your servant, not your master. And when that shift happens, you stop living to impress others and start living with intention. In the last section, we saw how seeking validation traps us in illusions. Now let's take the next step toward clarity. Because true detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. And in clarity, you discover strength not because you've become hardened, but because you've finally become whole. Rule number 4: the practice of letting go. Letting go is never easy. It feels like losing control. But often the reality is this: we're clinging to something that's already gone. Picture the rope metaphor. You're holding on so tightly that your hands are bleeding, yet the rope is tied to something drifting farther and farther away. What happens when you finally release it? Letting go doesn't mean you fall. Sometimes it means you can finally heal. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Think about that. Fear of discomfort creates paralysis. We stay in toxic situations because they're familiar. We scroll endlessly through social media, comparing our messy reality to curated illusions of others. And in the process, we avoid facing ourselves. So here's your challenge: stop chasing ghosts. Mute or unfollow the accounts that trigger unhealthy attachment. Journal every time you feel FOMO, fear of missing out. Ask yourself honestly, what am I truly missing, or am I just avoiding myself? Remember, detachment isn't about giving up on happiness, it's about redefining happiness on your own terms. Rule number 5: focusing on the present moment. Attachment is a master of illusions. It doesn't live in the now, it lives in two places, only the past and the future. It plays a cruel trick whispering, you once had something good and lost it, or you may never find something that good again. It latches onto old memories of what once was, or dreams of what could be, pulling your attention away from the only thing that truly exists this moment. The Stoics saw this trap clearly and warned us against it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Just 5 words, deceptively simple, yet within them lies the key to serenity, to freedom, and to strength. Because the present, the moment you're living in right now, is the only space where action is possible. It's the only place where love is real, where progress actually happens, where breath itself is taken. Everything else is illusion. The past is only memory. The future is projection. But the present is power. So ask yourself regularly, what is my mind revisiting? Is this thought serving me right now? Can I do anything about it in this moment? If the answer is no, then set it down like a heavy stone you've been carrying on your back. You don't need to carry everything with you. Practice presence in small, simple ways. When you eat, just eat. No screens, no rushing. When you walk, just walk. Feel your feet touching the ground, the air filling your lungs. When you speak truly, listen. Don't just wait for your turn to respond. The more we root ourselves in the present, the more we loosen the grip of regret and anxiety. The tighter we cling to the past or the more we obsess over the future, the more we suffer. But detachment flourishes when attention stops wandering into what ifs, into what once was, into what might be. Peace begins when you choose to live not inside your thoughts but in the truth of this moment. Because the present is not just where life happens, it's where you happen. And the more you return to it, the freer you become. Rule number 6, detachment in relationships. And this is where the philosophy is tested the most, relationships. Why? Because our deepest bonds often carry our deepest fears. In the last section, we saw how the present moment is the only place where peace and freedom truly exist. But nowhere is detachment tested more deeply than in our relationships. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of being forgotten. These fears run silently beneath the surface, shaping the way we love and connect. Too often we confuse love with possession presence with permanence and connection with control. But Stoic detachment invites us to see differently, to love fully without trying to own, to give generously without demanding to remain grounded even when others choose to walk away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony." When it comes to people, we must remember a difficult truth: nothing is ever truly ours. People are with us for seasons, for chapters, but never with guarantees. And yet the true beauty of a relationship is not in clinging, it is in choosing freely and consciously every single day. The moment you whisper, "I cannot live without them," you surrender your emotional freedom. That's not love, it's attachment. Here's a question worth reflecting on. Am I loving them, or am I simply needing them to fill a void? That difference is everything. Love enriches, attachment enslaves. If they leave, will you shatter, or will you bend, breathe, and continue walking your path? Because detachment in relationships doesn't mean shutting your heart. It means keeping your heart open while keeping your center intact. It means seeing people as fellow travelers, not as destinations. It means standing whole in yourself first so you meet others as complements, not as crutches. Here's a simple practice. Write a letter to someone you feel attached to, but don't send it. In this letter, express gratitude, love, appreciation, and then write these words: "I release you. I honor you. But I will no longer cling to what I cannot keep." This is not weakness. This is strength. This is maturity. This is self-respect. Seneca once reminded us true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, and that includes depending on others to complete us. You're not half of a whole waiting to be made complete. You are already whole, capable of connection but not reliant on it. You can love without losing yourself. You can support without self-sacrifice. You can say goodbye and still remain grateful. That is Stoic detachment in relationships, loving without clinging, giving without expecting, and continuing without resentment. Because at the very core of Stoic love lies freedom, yours and theirs. Rule number 7, redefining self-worth. And this brings us to the root of so many attachments, the belief that we are not enough. What if instead you believe truly and deeply that you already are? In the last section, we explored how detachment in relationships frees both you and the people you love. Now let's go even deeper into the heart of self-worth. Too often our sense of value feels like it's built on someone else's approval, but Seneca with his clarity and wisdom offers us a timeless reminder. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Your worth is not fragile. It is not something that can be handed to you or taken away by others. Your worth is revealed through adversity, sharpened in solitude, uncovered only within yourself. You are not less because you're alone. You are not more because someone chooses to stay. You are not defined by who applauds you, who abandons you, or who fails to see your value. You are whole completely and unconditionally, simply because you exist. Here's an affirmation worth repeating daily, even multiple times if you need it. I am not waiting to be chosen. I have already chosen myself. Let those words sink in. Not just into your mind, but into your nervous system, into the way you stand, into the choices you make. Let them shape the way you speak to yourself when you are alone. Let them set the standard for how others are allowed to treat you. Because your value is not a negotiation. It is not a debate. It is not tied to anyone's presence or absence, their attention or their silence. Your worth is yours, unchanging, unshakable. Detaching from the illusion that you must be picked is not arrogance. It is liberation. Because the very moment you stop waiting for the world to validate you, that's the moment you begin to live from a place of true power. From that space, your relationships improve, your decisions grow sharper, and your life starts aligning with your truth. You are enough. You always have been. You always will be. And nothing, not even your doubts, can take that away. Rule number 8. Emotional discipline is power. Now let's be clear. Detachment is not an emotion. It is a discipline. It's not something that magically appears after one meditation session or a single inspiring quote. Detachment is a skill, a practice, a choice you commit to daily. You don't master it by avoiding pain. You master it by stepping directly into discomfort, feeling it fully, and then choosing not to stay there. Think of it like building physical strength. You don't grow muscle by thinking about lifting weights. You grow by going to the gym, by lifting, by straining, by resting, and by repeating. Some days you feel strong, other days you fall short, but through the process your capacity expands. Emotional detachment works the same way. You train it like a muscle. And yes, you will fail at times. You'll get caught in your feelings, overthink, overreact, get pulled back into the gravity of old habits you thought you had outgrown. And that's okay. Because the key is not to live without emotion, it's to learn how to navigate emotion without being ruled by it. You don't learn detachment by never being hurt. You learn it by being hurt and refusing to let the pain define you. This is the Stoic path to feel pain without becoming the pain. To experience loss and still keep moving forward. To love deeply without crumbling when things don't go your way. Each time you let go of a grudge, release a toxic thought, or drop a false expectation, you become lighter. You shed emotional weight that was never yours to carry. Each time you return to your inner center after being thrown off course, you grow stronger, more grounded, more capable of facing life. And every single time you resist the urge to control what is beyond your reach and instead focus only on what you can shape, you reclaim your power. Because that right there is the essence of freedom. Not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of response. Detachment doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. And from that clarity, you can lead your life not as a puppet of emotion, but as a calm, steady, unwavering force. Conclusion: the journey toward freedom. This journey is not about becoming indifferent. It's about becoming invincible within. You will still feel, you will still care, but you will not cling. Because you've realized your peace is too precious to give away. Your time is too short to waste in emotional bondage. And your strength is not measured by what you cling to, but by what you've learned to release. So here's your final exercise. Write down the one thing you know you need to let go of. Then write a letter to it, grateful for the lesson, but ready to move on. Burn it, bury it, delete it, but do not carry it. Say it out loud and mean it. I let go. Not because I don't care, but because I finally do about myself. And if this message resonated with you, type it in the comments. I release what I cannot control. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who may be struggling. Most importantly, keep walking. Not toward control, not toward perfection, but toward peace. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and let go.